So the first heat of the afternoon of this, the 30th Henley Women's Regatta, is well underway and coming down towards the Upper Thames Boathouse. Just about 30 strokes off the finish, we can see the first heat of the elite lightweight pairs, and this has got Oxford University Women's Boat Club B pair on the enclosure or Berkshire side, and Thames Rowing Club B pair on the far side. You can see at the moment there is a very clear lead for the Thames pair. I've got 3 or 4 lengths on the pair from University of Oxford Women's Lightweight.
Spike, this is radio control, over.
That's going to need to be a little bit...
Which radio is that?
Is it lightweight pairs next one as well? Yeah, all right, next 4. Is that right? Yeah, cool.
They normally go like that.
Awesome. Okay.
I can't.
Okay, so...
So also on the course now we have race number 10, which is University of London against a composite from Mortlake Anglian and Alpha and Quintin. University of London, you can see from those pictures from our drone camera, University of London on the enclosure side or the Berkshire side, and they're leading by a couple of lengths. And these 2 young ladies won the bronze in the lightweight doubles and the lightweight quadruple sculls at this year's Bucks or University Regatta, and similarly one of them won academic Coxed Fours at Henley Women's Regatta here last year. So a bit of a pedigree here for the 2 young ladies from University of London. Which is Kate Wagstaff and her partner Heg, and the umpire, just as the umpire, you can see the crews both in the centre of the river. The umpire not very content with that and inviting University of London to move back over to their side of the water. But there's about 2-3 lengths of clear water between these 2 crews as they go down to...
Results finished, over. Finish. This is results. Go ahead, over.
Oh, blimey, should I turn this down?
The result of race 9, which is the elite women's lightweight pairs, with a winner for crew 3-2-1. That's Thames Rowing Club over Oxford University 3-2-0.
There's the names there.
And the distance was 3 lengths, no time taken. Over.
Right, we need to write his results down somewhere, is he?
Confirming the result of race 9.
I don't know when we're going to get to announcing, that's the only thing.
Sorry.
So there we go, we've got Kate Wagstaff and Sarah Hegg, but actually we've now turned to the next race. No, that is Kate Wagstaff and Sarah Hegg from University of London, and they've now established a very clear lead over Mortlake Anglian and Alpha Quintin, which is Lorna Cardwell and Rebecca Egger. Meantime, down on the start, the third of the 4 first-round races in elite lightweight Cox's pairs has just started. This is between, from Lee Rowing Club, Rachel Lund and Valentina Futoyanova, and on the far side from Wallingford Rowing Club, we've got Pippa Birch and Louise Hart. You can see the 2 pairs just reaching the top of the island, quite close together in the centre. There are 15 metres either side. These lanes are 15 metres wide, but it's quite intimidating when you're going down. And in fact, the umpire there warning the lead pair as the 2 crews reach the end of the island. That's Wallingford on the left-hand side of your screen and Lee on the right-hand side. And the umpire warning Lee a second time. And they both now come off way from the end of Temple Island. There we are. We can see them from the aerial shot. And we can see that Wallingford have established a lead of nearly 1 length. Wallingford rating at 33 and the Lee now beginning to pull back as they settle into their work at a rate of 35, trying to get back on terms, trying to make sure that the Wallingford pair don't actually break clear. But as we look down, we can see that Wallingford have just taken about 3 or 4 feet of clear water, a length and a quarter, as the two crews come down past Fawley Meadows. And just see the legs of the Wallingford girls pushing on there and just beginning to try and pull away. That's Pippa Birch and Louise Hart from Wallingford, just trying to squeeze away. Perhaps just slightly increasing by 1 inch or 2 every stroke. Lee now settled into a good course. That's Rachel London, Valentina Futayanova. And indeed they now pass us here where we're talking to you from, and we can see that Lee are beginning to get back at Wallingford. Lee now overlapping, and the distance between the two crews now just under a length, maybe 7/8 of a length. Both settled into some good rowing. Technically a very challenging boat to row a pair, but being lightweight pairs, these athletes will have to have weighed in this morning to convince the scrutineers that they have an average not in excess of 62 kilos. I'm sorry, 60 kilos for the lightweights. And neither of them, in fact, you can see as we reach past the Copus offices and we come down to the boating area and the competitors area, that Lee have now reduced that lead to half a length. Wallingford on the right-hand side of your screen, Lee on the left-hand side. Beautiful aerial shot there of the regatta site.
Results, this is finished.
Both pairs currently rating at 36, and Lee still pushing on. Lee still eating away as they pass our camera at the boating rafts, and Lee now just about 6 foot down. We're now just getting into the second half of this race, and Lee have drawn level with Wallingford. A really good spurt there from Lee. Lee continuing at 34.5. Wallingford trying to answer them. Wallingford at 34. And they're approaching our camera just on the bottom end of the Upper Thames lawn. Just about 1.5 minutes to row for these two pairs. Still very tight. Maybe Wallingford have re-established a slight lead. As they come opposite the camera, we'll be able to see much better. But it looks to me as though Wallingford pushed on as they went past the boating rafts. And meantime, most of the day today, there will be 2 races on the course. And the last heat of elite lightweight pairs, Durham University against Sons of the Thames, has just started. Meantime, coming down towards the Upper Thames Boathouse and the chairman's enclosure into the last stage of the race is Wallingford still leading Lee. And I notice that after a very few strokes, the last heat of elite lightweight pairs between Durham and Sons, there was a coming together of the crews, and we'll have to wait and see what the umpire says about that.
Got the results of the first two.
Don't
Don't do them until.
So, as we look from the chairman's enclosure to our camera on the finish line, we can see that Wallingford have managed to draw away, and they're over the finish line now, and we await the judge's verdict on that, but it looked to me as though Wallingford are safely through. And I can see that the umpire has clearly decided what he's going to do about this last race, Durham University against Sons of the Thames. And we'll wait and see what happens to the crews. If there's a coming together in the first few strokes, then it's down to the umpire to decide whether or not there was any malevolence, in which case one crew can get disqualified, or if it's nobody's fault, then he might take them back. I can look down the course and I can see that Durham University and Sons of the Thames are paddling. They've just paddled past one of the gaps in the booms, which rather suggests that they're not going back to the start at this stage. But until we hear more information from the umpire, I'm loath to give you any result there. It may be one of the crews has been disqualified, but it also may be, in fact, that's the only possible outcome. But it's impossible for us to know at this stage which one is the crew that has been clocked out. Of course, in rowing, if you don't stay on your station, or here at Henley, you're half of the river, and the umpire's launch is in the middle of the river, so you do have a little bit of a clue. And if they haven't done that, then you're in the situation that says, actually, if you hit the crew and you're not on your own station or your own half of the river, then that's what's known as a foul, and there's no second chances in rowing. If you commit a foul, then you'll get a red flag and you get sent home. And so when I have the outcome of that race that didn't come to a conclusion, we will give you the results of the elite lightweight pairs. Meantime, the first of the 4 quarterfinals of the senior lightweight single sculls has now started, and we have on the enclosure side from Peterborough, Camilla Plum, and on the far side from Durham University, Katie McDonald. The 2 scullers started a while ago and they've gone past the end of the island and have now settled into their race pace. The umpire is just at the moment warning Plum from Peterborough to get back onto her station, and she seems to have done that because the umpire's flag's gone down, and now content. You can see the 2 scullers as they come away from the end of Temple Island. Very little between them. I think Plum from Peterborough has established an early lead, but it's very early days in this race. Plum from Peterborough at 36, and McDonald from Durham settled into a slightly lower rate. She's at 32. But at the moment, neither sculler established much in an advantage. Third of a length to Plum from Peterborough.
It's a pretty gun indoor rower by the looks of things.
still rating at 34. You'd expect lightweight scullers at this standard to rate into the low or mid 30s. And here's the two pairs in that last race. Durham University and Sons of the Thames paddling down past the boating area, but we don't actually at this stage know the reasons why that race came to an end. So as these two scullers in this first heat of senior lightweight single sculls, Plum from Peterborough on the enclosure side and McDonald from Durham on the far side, we can see that Plum from Peterborough is now leading by length and a half as these two scullers go past the boating area. And the second heat of the senior lightweight single sculls has just started. This is between City of Bristol Rowing Club, Hazel Foreman and Anna Shrieves from Bedford Rowing Club. The scullers just finishing their start procedure, the first 10 or 15 strokes, are now beginning to settle into their race pace. 34.5 at the moment for Shrieves from Bedford, who's established an early lead as they come away from Temple Island and move into the Fawley Meadow area. And indeed, from our drone picture, we can see 3/4 of a length already is the lead that Foreman from City of Bristol has over Shrieves. I've got that the wrong way round. Shrieves of Bedford has from Foreman from City of Bristol. But as we saw in the previous race, in sculling races, things can change very quickly. Small boats, sculls and pairs and doubles, even up to 2 lengths, really counts for very little. These races can change in a very few strokes. So just a length between these two scullers as they come down towards the Copers offices. Shrieves from Bedford with that lead of just less than 1 length over Foreman from the City of Bristol. Meantime, that first race, no, we're just about to watch the start of the third race, which is between Perry from Thames and Hallet from Taunton.
So Perry won women's singles, Scullers Head of the River, and she won Metropolitan in the single last week.
And we might expect Susie Perry to be doing quite well on this because she was the winner earlier on this year of the women's division of the Scullers Head. That's held just before Christmas last year. But she also won the elite lightweights single sculls at this year's Metropolitan Regatta. And last year she was 10th in the women's doubles in the World University Games. So she has a bit of a pedigree, Susie Perry from Thames against Amy Hallet from Taunton. Always looks from this shot as though the scullers are not steering straight down their lane, but I think they are. And indeed, Susie Perry's already reduced her rate. down to 32. Amy Hallet overrating her at 33.5, and actually still not a length in it. One might expect Susie Perry just to scream away with her pedigree, but I think maybe she is aware she's got 2 other races this weekend, so she's just settling into the rhythm steadily here. Now sculling at 31. A lovely long solid stroke. And now broken away. By the time we're halfway down Fawley Meadows, she's now broken away and has got a lead of 1.5 lengths. And going up every stroke over Amy Hallet from Taunton.
It was Sons of the Thames that were disqualified in that pair.
Right, okay. So you can do those 4 if you want.
Yeah.
I was going to say, nobody's...
While we're watching paint dry. Susie? Oops.
Do you want to do the results for? Yeah. It's got it all on there. And coming down towards the finish now, we've got Foreman from City of Bristol and Shrieves from Bedford. And Shrieves from Bedford continues to lead. The lead just about a length. And the following race just about a length, but she's still hanging on to her. Foreman from Bristol, determined to race this out for every stroke. Hazel Foreman there, really hanging on and maybe beginning to come back. Maybe beginning to come back on Anna Shrieves. And in fact, we can see from our camera at the finish, it's very tight indeed, just a few put between them. And in fact, she may just have got up on the line there. She may just have got up on the line. That's going to be very close. First race of the day where the judges are going to have to earn their keep.